Okay, end time, the beast, Babylon, the harlot. Revelation 17. Tough to go in Revelation. Scary. Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlot and abomination of the earth. Mystery, Babylon. Babylon is confusion. Mystery, confusion, the great confusion. The mother of harlots. When the Jew are always reprimanded to not look at God. In term that I pose it in the Bible is mind flesh mind, fleshly mind flesh. And confusion, the great confusion. Then that would be Israel, because Israel represent mind power mind. Israel is the side of ability to put matter together, and Judah is the side of trying to fulfill your heart by means. And then the two group together makes the dynamic of your will of hope in the explanation of saying that you use your mind power to well, you would your curse being the fact that you're fleshly minded brings you to use your mind power to power your mind to mind your flesh. That's the dynamic of Israel and Judah. It's hope. It's the constructed hope that we use our intelligence that we use your intelligence on top of perfection. That on the seventh day it was perfect. We didn't have anything to adjust. So to say that what we have devised and invented and created, and that we can observe as the synthetic part of reality, is your affirmation of your unsatisfaction of your natural state. Because your natural state is implanted in your face with how Mother Earth works basically gear wise. Don't chip the stone. Ben is the only one that chipped the stone. And there she goes. We know exactly who's Mystery Babylon is your natural instinct of using your mind to fulfill a false hope out of recreating what don't belong to you. And that's the mystery is mostly called a mystery because it's pretty childish to understand that through our activity that we manifest as a thought of good idea is highly destructive to our natural habitat. And if we would think logically and a bit more manly, forgetting the toys, we would fall on the attention of the person for the ability of fulfilling the mind with complexities and solving complexities, because it seems that what we are thrive to do, of course, because the work, the reality is a work. And the whole thing is living, is doing something, it's working somehow. It's and that's a bit when you receive new birth. It's not really working, it's playing. That's what needs to be understood. It's playing. It's not thinking right, it's thinking like a child. Okay, I'm getting long here. Mother of a harlot of the abomination of the earth. An abomination, a thing that is not part of natural spectrum. It's an abomination. Boom. It's everything that we have invented, devised, and took out of natural and transformed into the phantasm of the power of imagination, which would be idolism. That you need to believe in something to be able to explain your life somehow. Which put you in right there in those two aspects. As I described, the first has taken an idea, transforming it into matter, into reality, into materialistic matter, as much as a hard invention, as much as an ideology for society, let's say, a new rule, a new law, whatever, a movement. Or to regard all this aspect of reality, knowing that is in itself a concise reality that manifests the simple word that is general human hope of the mass. And that hope of the mass, and then I push on that point because that's the point that we want to push tonight. Is that mind kept in the natural aspect of thing on the side material and embranch into will and intelligence power, hope of a materialistic aspect. So you use the power of your entity to be able to manifest yourself in reality for real means. So you work hard at work, so one day you hope that the boss will recognize you, and you get that salary raised. You will to do good in society. Or you will to understand society, and if you listen to your heart demands of you to explain your perspectivity of the important, many importance, plural. Your mind manifests its intelligence on the importance. And the primary importance is the position of your heart, your emotional comfort regarding reality. And that's what, in a general idea, what the Bible would call flesh. When you enter the realm of effectiveness of the writings, in the sense that you can think about the biological entity as much as you want related with the Bible, but you never get nowhere with that. It's funny, they all say you need to read that literally. You did that. That's the stumbling stone. You have to catch out of the writing that the Bible teach you how your brain function. And that's it. That's why it's fair, because it doesn't lie to you. It explains to you how you function. And then your heart tells you if it's right or not. Because that's the amount of intelligence it takes to connect the dots. And if you have used the right intelligence, your heart will tell you by the feeling of conviction. The beast that thou sawest was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. The beast was, I truly believe that somehow in the levels of thought you have to catch the fact that the beast was and is not. Now there's two that I would be confused on that. Because before the rainbow, when the flood, the mist was coming right out of the ground. Therefore, mist being spirit, spirit was, you were directly connected with the spiritual realm. That's why you had all those easily well fabricated fables of the Greek and all, because it all started with the Greek pretty much, in the sense that it was Zorro at first, and nobody beat Zorro. Zorro was the first, the Zoroastrian. They were the first of really tapping in the, I think, in the scripture to decipher the evil side of the Bible, because the best evil have their nose in the Bible. The Bible reveals reality. So if you want to screw around with reality, the Bible is your best book. That's the thing. That's where you get accused, because you screw around with reality. So it's for you to prove that you have the sensitivity enough for the creation not to touch nothing, and to instead capture what belongs to you, and that's the level of your understanding for reality, creating that conviction. Or was it when Jesus chained up Satan at the crucifixion? One of the two. I'm not sure. I didn't thought about that. That didn't came across it. Something like that. It was and it's not. And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. I think we hear all the booms around and all the squeak in the sky and all that shit. That nice big trumpet of CERN. CERN and harp playing their instrument and screwing around with that bottomless pit, opening Stargate, shit like that. Playing with high frequency in the open air. That's what the computer does. Bottom piss and go into perdition. So go. So when that beast comes out of the bottomless pit, when we have invented enough that we can create a direct connection with things that don't particularly are found in reality for our perspectivity of it. Screwing around with matter enough that you start in like the day after the Second World War, piling up antimatter and having a hard time keeping it in the freaking bowl, because it finds a way to get out. Not only that it finds way to get out for himself, but as soon as one find way to get out, all the other ones get out. So go figure that one. That's when you get a mechanical control on substances that are similar to that ether for the level of frequency that those states of things are, so we don't perceive them but still are part of reality, being reality. A field of different tone and intensivity, whatever, however you calculate the freaking waves. We're all waves. And then as the quantum physics I understand, and it's posed in my simple logic, that third entity that position the particle in the wave, and that render that wave a particle, is that God that sustains matter. He chooses where to make that particle appear, conform to our consciousness. He sweared that reality and logic would never play a game on you, so everything needs to remain logic. So to show that there's much things in reality that you don't capture but can capture by the effect that are left behind. Now you start to really get that you know nothing, and there's many more powers. And these opening of minds are your only chance to get alive of that war that is playing on you right now. Okay, let's get some speed on that. And the beast carrier. So the invention carries the tree of ideology that sits on top of it. As much as the beast is there, the beast is logical, so to be part of reality. If it's not logical to you, it's not because it's not logical, it's because you don't understand it. Seven heads, 10 horns. So at that point, she's got the perfect amount of heads and the perfect amount of grip on people. So too, because we know that other verses that are participating into that explanation are Egypt, which is the source of hope. Where the Lord is crucified. So that false hope. And they use that false hope all right with the Pyramid of Giza. And that's why it's a sand pit now. Because they sucked Mother Earth into it. So you feel good. And I think I gotta stop here. Because the universal hope is the hope of certification, of positioning of flesh for the feeling of it. People wants to be happy because they want to feel good inside of themselves. So they produce the measures in life to achieve their conceived idea of what that reality of happiness is. So you work hard for your goals. So that's all that ideology of mass that get everybody going. And then if there's an entity that comes in the world and tells you that in the morning you face east and you take 20 seconds doing a little prayer for him, and you'll have that complete sense of fulfillment in life, and you just have to go around with whatever reality you perceive being it for your good, and go at it, because you don't even have to feed yourself. Because now the Antichrist is present, and through his teaching, he teaches you how to eat. He might pose it as eating out of the sun. That you eat out of the immense capacity that the sun offers, a bit like a plant. And you do that prayer, and you become, your biological entity requires for you to use the sun as a plant. It's just a brain fart there. Don't worry, it's just a brain fart. But you get fed somehow through photosynthesis. And that would maybe be put the dots on the line when you don't understand why there's no toilets in the immense castle in France and Germany and all that. St. Petersburg. But all that to say that the spiritual powers were completely innocent of, and that's like a flash in a movie that tells you the end before we get to the end of the explanation, but to get ready for it, because that's the main point. And also it was ascend out of the water and person go to perdition, and shall wonder whose name were not written since the foundation. So that's your predestination in a sort. And that if you're due to see it, you're gonna see it. If you're not due to see it, you're not due to see it. But I think that's a brain fart right away, but it means nothing. But I think that might be a cutting point to separate the elect and the crowd at the marriage, because there's the bride, but it needs a crowd. So after the 144,000 are tagged, in reality, the job of the 144,000 is to grab together an assistance for the wedding. Witness. Need a witness. That's kind of the idea behind all that. If that may be a cutting point for that fact. When we shall wonder. So the one that are not, that's the beginning of the deception, in a way where, as that is explained so far and as that is cut so far for the similar wrong that it exposes things so far, is your state of innocency, of not knowing what's coming really at you. So it's again the phenomena of the boiling fog, that it starts with the mark, and then the confidence in the confidence in the mark, the start of realization of the mark, the destruction of the mark, and then the savior of everything, Antichrist, that grabs the mark and tells you you don't need the mark. You just need to believe in me. So that's a bit the general going of the eschatology. We get a bit more in details. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder. Those that was not and yet is. And it goes with the beast, like this distinguish where the beast is in time, where is and is not and is and yet is. And yet is, in a way that I can see it, is that I get too far with that, but it always been there. But it was not very easy to acknowledge for the final realm of the final time of execution, according to the events. The events were not built for the end time yet. That's why the 444,000, it all end up at the end, because the three of knowledge of salvation, of states, of things must happen. In a timely fashion, which is the end, for being able to place the time, the plan in time to accommodate our biological entity and to regard the thing logical. With a logical foundation that everything can be explained. So to say that as things get more and more wicked, more and more you have clues to recognize evil in his doing, so to kind of nail down the plan of God to edify and elect, prepared for the next term, that it's a training. The elect is here to be trained. And for a first little work on the earth to try to concise target, grab that potential sheep, people that respond similar to you and for the perspectivity of reality. Okay, let's stop there. So much to say. It's crazy. It is. And here is the mind which had wisdom, the seven head or the seven mountain, on which sitten there you go. That's what I'm explaining. That you fucking square. Sorry, it's the square. I hate the square. And there are seven kings. Oh, okay, and okay. Seven heads are seven mountains, and then it kind of affirmed through the vocabulary of the Bible. It's one of the place where I've been able to capture the idea of a systematic. That a systematic is a head and a systematic is a mountain. and a systematic is a 3. And the potential to build a systematic is a field. And is water. And is the sea. And that's how you divide your realities through reading the Bible and profounding the meaning of things. It doesn't never talk about 3 with leaf in. I mean, it does, but that's the one that you want to get out of. It means other things. And there are 7 kings. And that's a good one. There are 7 kings. And that's your 7 capital sin. That's the tree of life for a Christian. That's how things really works in reality. I have that here in the Bible, but I will show. But the 7 capital sin. 5 are fallen. So you have that to show you that the 3 is who down. So you cut the trunk of gluttony and you arrive at heart, and then you have envy, greed, and envy, and the other one. So that makes 3, 4, 5. Because in the middle of the trunk is pride, lust, greed. So that's 5 with the trunk gluttony. So 5 are fallen. So you don't have gluttony, you don't have pride, you don't have lust, you don't have greed, you have no desires for self. And now, in what way? Because I don't have any more desire for self in the meaning that I receive new birth and you die for self. So you try to be patient and let God work on you, and don't take decision on your life. Just find a little round where you can live for the cheapest, and then for the cheapest, for the fact that you're completely stupid at work, but in a complete ability to put your earmuff and listen to the world, kind of thing, because you're now obsessed by facts about reality. That's easy to do, to grab facts about reality. But the other way of perceiving that same fact is to say that oh, you square, is to say that you're satisfied. It rounds up to say that you're satisfied. So everything that you desire, you have. And that's the Jesus of the Antichrist. Everything that you desire, you have. And that's the Jesus that we see in all the church, pretty much, that we can see going. Because things are as simple as truth. You can have a big church, but do you know truth? And if you know truth, you probably don't have a big church. 5 are fallen, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Whoa. A 7 king. 7 king, 5 are falling, and 1 is. Oh, there you go. Okay, sorry guys. One is the one that is the one that always was, and that's your dirt in the image of 3, and that be Satan, because everything belongs to Satan and everything's dirt. That's how I kind of put it together in my mind. But that one is, and then there's the underground, which was the providence of counseling, which was. Oh no, sorry. I screwed that up. I screwed that up. One is, the one that is fear. The one that is fear. And fear always have been. And oh, there you go. And yet is, you see that always that yet is, even though it doesn't seem like it's there. So go read Amos and many others, and read about all those states that are cited in the Bible about some kind of a paradise on earth. That's where it is, right there. That's where it is. Yet is. And he must continue for a short space. And then the beast is the 8 on 10, and of the 7. So there's 2 more to go for the beast, and that beast is out of the 7, is out about your unsatisfaction, or it's you can imagine that 3 of the 7 that incitate of the minding of hope that is fabricated in the day that we live right now. And then that hope is satisfied. You get everything you want in the manner that through the 10 kings you get that, which the Ten Kings is New World Order. So that's to say that New World Order will give power to the artificial intelligence because the artificial intelligence will behave half decently well and will bring up all kind of crazy solution, and especially the one of being able to manage the mark. And I refuse to believe that that mark is ever, I mean, if for very little importance that the mark would be in your forehead or your arms. With what we understand of the base of what social media are in our days, you can easily be distinguished into camps with a mind police according to what you surf on internet. Your mark of the mind through your Google search, and your mark of the hand through your behavior in society, in the sense that are you creating trouble? So in that time, are you saying verities? And that's the and then if we continue, and the horns which that would have received no kingdom as yet. 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So that's to say that the New World Order will make you love the beast for its fake solutions. But developing into better solution. And they shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. And the Lord shall overcome them, because that would be the part for the last little part where the two witnesses are left unburied for 3 days before they disappear, before they go up in the sky. And he said unto me, the water which thou sawest. So the water that you saw in your life, the ideologies, où c'est que j'étais? The water where the whore sitteth. So the ideology, the idea, the ability of men of perceiving reality, rendering realizable modified reality. You invented in your head, you systematized in your head, you imagined a concept. Where the horse sitteth, the water where the horse sitteth, are the people. That's just what I just say. Unto me, are the people, and multitudes. So that's the quantity of invention we can invent, like the amount of different ideology, or the fact that ideologies are piled up and never disappearing and intertwined in the tree and are part of the recording that reality does on humanity to leave a real witness behind. Are the people the multitude in the nation and tongues? The multitude and nations. And nations, I think if you grab reality as a unit, as you unify everything, and when you read the Bible and it's unified, then it becomes a unit, in the sense that nation, the reality shelter different nation in one reality. So there's the animal, there's the human, there's the UFOs and the gray and the lizard and that kind of bullshit, that there's many different nations, and human being is one of the multitude of nations that are around in body, spiritual and astral. And tongues. Once again, if things are kind of as I kind of perceive them, as in the weirdness of the conspiracy theories, that degree are playing your emotions, and their part with the Nazi and minded about DNA. And then there's the cold-blooded lizard that are driving they're driving the owl, and they're driving the Crossbones and all those guys. They're driving the dry mind aspect of thing, the dry mind idea, the inventions, the being able to put matter together better. And these are your two realm of idea that are fabricated by our human nature through the unity of the human nature of being able to sense by the foot as an imagery and sense by the head with that same kind of idea. So all your emotions and your like what you feel with your heart is connected with the heart, the reality in what you have your feet on. And then what happened in your mind doesn't necessarily have any feelings, but it demands a justice because it's tied to the heart when you start looking at things in a bit more depth. It needs justice because it's moral law tied to the heart. So the mind need to explain things to the heart. And that's where you have the dynamic of being able to produce conviction with the mechanism of peace to understand reality in the sense that you're in control of the elements that are around you for whatever task are needed from you. That you're in confidence. That's where she all holds. It's these kinds of aspects of life that gives you solution. Holy, eh? And the 10 homes. And the 10 horns hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall heat her flesh and burn her with fire. And with fire, you always get that with misconception of what hope should be. So realization of flesh instead of realization of reality in a mental schematic, like a comprehension of reality. Comfort of the flesh instead of a comfort of the heart. So the 10 kings are like the holder of the new world order in the manner that it's an exact perfect number of humanity divisions kind of thing. That's how they obtain total control in the 10 geopolitical kind of idea. And then driven through AI. But the thing that happened with all that is that the 10 kings are part of they're the 10 kings, they're top. So they have direct communication with evil. The fact that we have built AI, they don't need us anymore. So that's why the game changed at that part, because we have invented evil, AI. Therefore, the 10 king don't really need the population to sustain them. They have evil, they have the devil to sustain them. They are for an hour one mind with the devil. So it's all on the same plane at that point. So our king of the earth will become some kind of semi-god that had been formed out of the Greek theology. They'll be in perfect accordance with the devil, and only 10 of them. So a tight group there. And that will only last an hour, because the devil don't need that. He already achieved that by the fact that those guys are there. That I have fully 10 fully devil worshipper that will play the societies for me on one mind in accordance with AI. So that's a bit of a scratchy time to build that society, that some kind of agreement with the technological aspect of thing, and that's where all the easy payment and social credit and all that kind of thing will really start to take off, kind of thing. And for that to take off, they might use other means. Because we're due for another COVID soon. But the thing is that now you have 10 kings that are also entwined with Satan, in the sense that they are able to perform miraculous particularity, not to get you all crazy, but to get you really convinced. And at that point, I really think that they will present you with a mark that is not really a mark. That with maybe it will remain a mark, but it would also, I think, be something that you only drop blood, and then they analyze your blood, and then they find how your DNA is tuned, and then they can use the frequency out of that. Boom. Mechanized way to be able to embark into your DNA frequency. So now through it'll probably won't be called Wi-Fi at that point, but so some kind of an idea like Wi-Fi, that the AI will be able to heal your disease in a distance through frequency, which I think was what the pyramids were. A rectification of chakra of some kind. And you'll be able to get that through your PayPal account, kind of thing. And get that delivered right to you through. Maybe it'll be a show of light through your meta goggle. Wow, who cares? Who knows? It's not important. The thing is that artificial intelligence connects soul to materialistic based mechanism. Therefore, create a conviction of an ability of being healed through the air, being healed through the prince of power of the air. And that will be how the horse will be running over everything and making devastating effect, because that'll be the power. And then the thing that'll happen is that a guy will come up out of it's written down there. That one comes out of the, or three than one, but then the little horn, the Antichrist. The Antichrist will be able to link in the conviction of people that you don't need the machine, but you can do it yourself through me. And that's where you're gonna have to worship the Antichrist, because he's gonna give you whatever the Wi-Fi has prepared for you as a recipe of what good is. Being healed through the air and having your whatever buzz satisfaction all day long, and having to do nothing because you're once again fed through the air, and everything is done through those hair. And then the Antichrist would really empower that, because you'll have a base of being convinced that you don't need that machine to do that. And if you grab the machine by itself doing its own thing, instead of healing through Wi-Fi, she injects you freaking COVID poison. So everybody catches on the utmost efficiency of being able to be healed through Wi-Fi instead of being healed through the hospitals. And that's where you really get into defining Antichrist by the fact that he collapses God's mandate for you to be part of Mother Nature and feeding yourself like an animal and acting like an animal in the manner of regarding reality as God's perfectness, therefore not having any envy of modifying what you see in front of you. Because you know that what you see is perfect because it belongs to God. God is in perfect control of it. Through the devil, all right. But that's what you have to light up on. It's your misbehaved intelligence that is the devil. It's your unsatisfaction of what God has perfected for what is reality, and for you to habilitate with it and not get bored. Therefore, understand that there's other people around and they're extremely complex, and if you love them, you're gonna freaking start to take them apart in a motion of heart, trying to understand their heart. And that'll get your time going to be in love with people and discovering them. And discovering them in a manner of identity through a culture that wants to establish answering of existential question. Because those existential questions are better answered through a discussion with another person if the heart can be open enough to one another, exposing those fears that the devil is in control of. And hopefully your primary fear is to die. And then you start talking about death. And then another fear that you can have maybe is that justice won't be rendered. But that will be rendered. And then that's very much what relate to being destroyed by fire, being destroyed by a hope, being destroyed by the opening of a better solution. And that's the deception, and that's the Antichrist, and that's the promise of I'm gonna put your flesh in a state that it's gonna be perfect for you. You have nothing to complain about. You just have to pay at the end of the year with the worship to me. And that Antichrist will be there in the time of the technology and the time of the no technology. He's the one that will destroy Babylon by the fact that it will open up the hope window of spiritual power, so to fed of spiritual power, not knowing what that spiritual power is. So as probably the 10 kings that are motivating you to do so. But we'll get our state of utopia where there won't be war and everybody will be happy with each other. We'll get that all right because there's many passages out of that are manifesting that. And that'll be the time that we'll be slowly eating Mother Nature. And we'll get a perfect state of corpse or establishment of flesh. So to say, hope fulfilled out of Mother Nature's energy. Probably keeping in a state of euphoria all day long, of your choice kind of thing. Give me perfect living and boom. But that will last as long as we will, as human race, start perceiving that we're eating the life essence of nature. But then, as greedy as we are, we're gonna keep on doing it till nature disappears. And then we'll have nothing to feed ourselves out of food. So that's when we're gonna start hating Antichrist. Because the only way you'll be able to fulfill your sacrifice will be giving your children. So it'll be, you might be lucky if you have a twin 1 year, and then you might keep one, but you still have to produce one every year because it's needed every year. And if you want more, you'll be getting it from another one through deception. It'll be simple. You'll just have to make him believe into your theory, your false theory, and then you gain him. You can eat a bit of him. And that's why the Victorians weren't talking in the videos. And when they were talking, it was completely stupid what they had to say. But that's how you create a reset. Controlling the population that way. Through a hope, a false hope, everybody jumps on it. But then it only needs a couple, and you get Sodom and Gomorrah. Everything falls to shit. That's the power of the two angels, the two witnesses at the end. That they're gonna blow fire out of their mouth and all that. They're gonna see truth, and the nonsense will be so deep that any bit of common sense that is palpable, that will be much more palpable later when the spiritual realm will drive, to understand the reality of what really happens down here. Because you'll have already a full-on open view on what the spiritual realm can offer, because he kept you alive all those years, but then you also understand that, once again, nothing's free. I took out of something. And once again, God looking for sensitivity. He gets things happening on reality to separate that sensitivity. But that will be Armageddon, when there won't be any more nature and we'll start to offer our child, and when we don't have child, we're gonna have to offer somebody else and all that kind of bullshit. So we'll be fighting against each other for the basic essence of what life is. So at that point, you'll have a pretty good idea what life is. And then you'll have also a place of no choice at recognizing that the one that are willingly participating into their own sacrifice will play out a huge movement. In the sense that when he paves a road out for him, that's what he's doing. You'll always have kept the possibility of going in front of the Antichrist and tell him enough truth that he sacrifices you, he kills you, because he can't stand you anymore. And that's the motion of the cross. That for hatred of righteousness, you pay the price in hell for acting the executor and it proves his righteousness for the conceiver, the conceptioner, the one that had put that plan in your face if you regard reality right. And have been, I mean, that's the principal motion, to acknowledge of reality. It's that level of sensitivity that throws you in the right zone to be able to capture that deep sense of guilt of having pretended before new birth that something was due to you, and then after new birth that you're so lucky to have the chance to be able to participate into reality and to be able to develop your skills for the next round. You had it had be open to you the possibilities of becoming divine. And that's where that whole dynamic comes into play, that you're not realizing idea for the performance of yourself, but you're realizing idea for a better comprehension of your position in reality. A better substantialization of what eternity is. A capacity of being able to systemize the ideological world into a comprehension of goal that is just and perfect. The perfect plan of God. Capture that idea. That your way out is not to screw around with reality and realize a life for yourself, but a chance to comprehend the dynamic of what reality is according to your life. I think that's enough. Bye bye.